Today is May 20th, 2025, and this is Read Through the Bible.
And Vaughn, you have a smile on your face today.
I am
now.
very glad.
Right now you have a smile on your face.
Yeah, that we have a stump getting grounded outside.
Yep. Remember a few months ago, I think it was 2 months ago, I told you about a tree that we cut down. Mm-hmm. And we left this big stump about 4 feet high, maybe 3 feet across. It was pretty big. And it's just kind of sitting there.
Yep. So today it's getting taken care of.
Yep. And
so you might hear it in the background.
Yep, they're grinding the stump right now. So if you hear it, it kind of sounds like a truck passing by. I don't think you'll hear it, but you might. You can listen really closely for it. But we can hear it, but you probably can't. Okay, so in chapter 27 comes after 26. 26 is a huge chapter in the book of Numbers because it's the second census that was taken. Chapter 1 was the first census, and now is the second census. And now it's like, okay, everyone's died off. We got our numbers. And we're ready to go to war to take over the land. But we got some odds and ends we got to deal with first as we think about inheriting the land.
Right. So the rest of Numbers is going to deal with these odds and ends.
Yep. And the first issue has kind of this unique case.
It is.
About this man, Zelophehad, who only had daughters. Mm-hmm. And it's the sons who get the inheritance. So they got to figure out, whether these daughters are going to get the inheritance or whether it's going to go away. So they drew near and asked Moses, what should we do?
And they were mentioned back in chapter 26, but this is going to go into more detail, and they're actually going to get mentioned again in chapter 36.
Yep, when they actually get the inheritance.
Yep, okay, so 27, verse 1. Then drew near the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, from the clans of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. The names of his daughters were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest and before the chiefs and all the congregation at the entrance of the tent of meeting, saying, Our father died in the wilderness. He was not among the company of those who gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died for his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be taken away from his clan because he had no son? Give to us a possession among our father's brothers.
So here's a question, right? The sons inherit it. And what do you think, if you've never heard this story before, what do you think is going to happen? God's going to give them the inheritance for sure. Moses brought their case because he has compassion for the weak. And Moses brought the case before the Lord, and the Lord said to Moses, The daughters of Zelophehad are right. You shall give them possession of an inheritance among the father's brothers and transfer the inheritance of their father to them. And you shall speak to the people of Israel, saying, If a man dies and has no son, then you shall transfer his inheritance to his daughter. And if he has no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. And if he has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to his father's brothers. And if his father has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the nearest kinsman of his clan, and he shall possess it. And it shall be for the people of Israel a statute as a rule as the Lord commanded Moses. So it's good news for the daughters of Zelophehad that they'll get the land, part of this tribe of Manasseh. Yep.
I think it just shows a respect to women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so.
Okay, verse 12. The Lord said to Moses, Go up into this mountain of Abarim and see the land that I have given to the people of Israel. So, if you remember, Moses was prevented or prohibited from going into the land because he
struck the rock
rather than
speaking
to the rock.
Yeah, and this is punishment. He's going to get to see the land, as it says here in verse 12, but he's not going to get to go into the land. And as we were talking about this beforehand, you said, oh, poor Moses.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Yeah, but... Okay, so verse 13. When you have seen it, you also shall be gathered to your people as your brother Aaron was. That means he will die. Because you rebelled against my word in the wilderness of Zin, when the congregation quarreled, failing to uphold me as holy at the waters before their eyes. These are the waters of Meribah of Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin.
It's chapter 20.
Yep. Moses spoke to the Lord, saying, Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, appoint a man over the congregation, who shall go out before them and come in before them, who shall lead them out and bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord may not be as sheep that have no shepherd. So there's Moses, ever the leader. He's resigning himself to what God has said is going to happen, but he wants to make sure that the people have a leader.
Yeah, making sure in his absence things go well.
Yeah. Okay, I thought
Verse
that was the
18.
end. Okay, verse 18. So the Lord said to Moses, take Joshua, the son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay your hand on him. So God appointed Joshua there. Make him stand before Eleazar the priest and all the congregation, and you shall commission him in their sight. You shall invest him with some of your authority, that all the congregation of the people of Israel may obey. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall inquire for him by the judgment of the Urim before the Lord. At his word they shall go out, and at his word they shall come in, both he and all the people of Israel with him, the whole congregation. And Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua and made him stand before Eleazar the priest and the whole congregation. And he laid his hands on him and commissioned him as the Lord directed through Moses.
Yep. So as we think about summarizing this chapter, really two big things take place. Right, dealing with the daughters of Zelophehad and the inheritance issue, and then the appointing of Joshua to succeed Moses.
Yeah.
Now, when you write that summary, write it shorter than that so you can fit it in one line, but just those two events are crucial here. Okay, and now in chapter 28, we're going to be talking about just a progression of duties and celebrations that we should have daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly.
Yep.
Okay. And then yearly will carry over tomorrow into chapter 29. Okay? This is every day now. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, command the people of Israel and say to them, my offering, my food from my food offerings, my pleasing aroma, you shall be careful to offer to me at its appointed time. And you shall say to them, this is the food offering that you shall offer to the Lord, 2 male lambs, a year old without blemish, day by day, as a regular offering. The one lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other lamb you shall offer at twilight. This is like 2 lambs every day. There's a morning sacrifice and an evening sacrifice. And if you have your ears for this, sometimes the scriptures speak about at the time of the evening sacrifice. I mean, I just think what comes to my mind is the battle on that Elijah had with the prophets of Baal. Whether it's 1 Kings maybe 18, I think. At the time of the evening sacrifice is when the fire came down on his offering, on his altar. So, this is a time every day. It became like a clockwork. So you have lamb in the morning, lamb at twilight. Also, a tenth of an ephah of fine flour for a grain offering, mixed with a quarter of a hin of beaten oil. It is a regular burnt offering, which was ordained at Mount Sinai for a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. Its drink offering shall be a quarter of a hin for each lamb. In the holy place you shall pour out a drink offering of strong drink to the Lord. The other lamb you shall offer at twilight, like the grain offering of the morning, and like its drink offering you shall offer it as a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. There's daily.
Okay.
Here's weekly now.
Okay. On the Sabbath day, 2 male lambs, a year old, without blemish, and 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with oil, and its drink offering. This is the burnt offering of every Sabbath, besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering.
Okay. So 2 lambs every day, and 2 lambs every Sabbath. And here we come, verse 11. At the beginning of your months you shall offer a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 bulls from the herd, 1 ram, 7 male lambs, a year old without blemish. Also 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with oil for each bull, and 2/10 of fine flour for a grain offering mixed with oil for the 1 ram, and 1/10 of a fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for every lamb, for a burnt offering with a pleasing aroma, a food offering to the Lord. Their drink offering shall be half a hin of wine for a bull, a third of a hin for a ram, a quarter of a hin for a lamb. This is the burnt offering of each month throughout the months for you. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering to the Lord. It shall be offered besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. So we got, I didn't count them as I was reading.
Yeah, there's quite a lot.
Right, there's 1 ram and 2 bulls and a ram, and that's 10, about 10 every month. So we got 2 every day, 2 every week, 10 every month. And now we come upon the yearly sacrifices.
Right, for the different feasts.
Yep.
Or festivals. Okay, verse 16. On the 14th day of the first month is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of this month is a feast. 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. On the first day there shall be a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, but offer a food offering, a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 bulls from the herd, one ram, and 7 male lambs a year old. See that they are without blemish. Also, their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil. 3/10 of an ephah shall you offer for a bull, and 2/10 for a ram. 1/10 you shall offer for each of the 7 lambs. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering to make atonement for you. You shall offer these besides the burnt offering in the morning, which is for a regular burnt offering. In the same way, you shall offer daily for 7 days the food of a food offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It shall be offered besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. And on the 7th day, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work.
Yep. So this is the Sabbath Passover offering. So
Right.
It's every year, first month, 15th day. And then this is the day of the Feast of Weeks. So it says in the heading here, verse 26. On the day of the first fruits, when you offer a grain offering of new grain to the Lord at your Feast of Weeks, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work, but offer a burnt offering with a pleasing aroma to the Lord. 2 bulls from the herd, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old. Also their grain offering of fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each bull, 2/10 for a ram, 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, with a male goat to make atonement for you. Besides the regular burnt offering and its grain offering, you shall offer them and their drink offering. See that they are without blemish. Okay, and then tomorrow we get to chapter 29. We'll talk about this tomorrow. But these were your spring offerings, and then 29 will be like your fall offerings.
Right,
the
so
7th
more
month
annual feasts or
Yep.
festivals.
Yep, but we will read that tomorrow. Thanks.
Yep.
We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Okay, goodbye.